Send a newsletter, send a market report, post on social media, call your database, do a pop by, have a client event. Man, oh man, oh man, are we asked and expected and told to do a ton in our real estate businesses. When was the last time, though, that you did something for a client that had absolutely nothing to do with them buying or selling a house and you earning a commission? Hey folks, this is Todd Tremonti, and this is Commission, the podcast where we help people go from the chaos and the grind and the burden and the burnout to freedom and wealth and purpose and the joy of building a real estate business that supports the life you want to live. I am Todd Tremonti, and I've been running a brokerage and a team in Dallas-Fort Worth for well over 20 years. We do over 100 transactions a year. We do over $1 million in GCI every year. And I'm joined by Ian Daniels, team leader, day-to-day team leader of the team, and coach at Real Estate Growth Systems, where we've been coaching real estate agents all over North America, team leaders and brokers for a long, long time as well. Welcome, Ian.
Hello.
Appreciate all three of those.
Yep, all three.
We're getting into it today, folks, and this is a topic. A lot of times I say this is a topic that doesn't get talked about. This is a topic that actually does get talked about, but not in the way that we're about to talk about it. And this is something because we typically talk to successful solo with help agents and especially team leaders and brokers. This is something that I find if people did it well, they did it well early, and they sort of don't do it as well now, or they've almost lost track of it completely as they've scaled, made more money, done more volume, and grown. And we're going to talk about how doing this really, really well fits back into a scaling, growing, successful, not massive, but bigger business.
Yeah, one of the reasons I know that this is an important topic is when we sit in a room with our coaching clients and we begin to have this discussion a couple of times a year, eyes light up. And it's like a revelation of saying, man, I've done this once or twice, but I don't do it on a consistent basis from the moment that I meet somebody to long after the transaction. Like, I'll do the one-off things, but I'm not creating moments throughout.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I'll take a little rabbit trail here for just a second. But people call me a real estate coach all the time. And sure, obviously, if you listen to this podcast, you know that we are helping people with real estate info. But what I think of myself as more and what I do more is I'm really helping real estate business owners make great decisions, lead well, build systems, build structure, and live better lives and help other people live better lives. And the reason I say all that is because what you just pointed to is when we're in the room with our mastermind or when we're running an event with our higher level coaching clients, it's almost never that they don't know how to get a listing on the internet. They're not with us if that's what they're struggling with, although we can help with stuff like that. It's almost always that they need help making big decisions. And I think a lot of times they need permission.
Yeah.
They need to open their mind to the freedom that it's okay to do something. And this is actually one of those things that it's okay for every single activity, every single expense, every single expenditure of time to not be exactly directly dedicated to another buyer, another seller, another lead, another deal. So we're getting into it.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too into the weeds right now on what we do for people throughout. I want to get there, but not right this second.
Okay.
But when we think about our entire client experience, we actually call it a client experience timeline.
Yep.
When we think of that, what are some of the elements of that on a higher, broader level?
Yeah.
Things like, phone calls, responses, communications, just things like that. And then we'll dig into some of the very specific things.
Yeah. The principle we're talking about is just genuinely caring for people. That's how we wrap up every...
Really? That's what we're supposed to do?
Yeah. Turns out that actually is profitable
for people,
relationally and financially. I end every one of our strategy calls with our coaching clients and I say, hey, don't forget, just get out there and love on your people, which doesn't sound like a real cool masculine business leader thing to say. But what I'm communicating every single time, I've done it for well over a decade, is that all of the other stuff becomes easier when you have genuine connection with people, when you actually care for them and love on them. So to answer your question, our whole timeline, our client care, non-real estate client care timeline is built on psychology. It's built on patterns. And what I mean by that is it's very common, for example, after someone has met with a real estate agent to sell their home and they've signed a listing agreement, they have made a huge commitment. Okay, we are officially selling and we are officially trusting this person to help us navigate that. It's very common that the next 5 or 6 hours, they're freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, what have we done? Were we ready? Was this the right time? Were they the right person? Was that the right price? Is that the right commission? Are we okay? Are we crazy? Is this stupid? So there's some overwhelm there. So we have built our care for people timeline around the emotions and the psychology in these patterns. So that's when we are going to make a phone call. And there's not much of a script to it, but it's going to go something like, hey, Ian, I know we were literally just together 15 minutes ago, but it's very common that when people leave our office or when I leave people's home, pretty quickly they have some questions. They might have a little bit of concern. They might be forgetting something, or they might have forgotten to ask a question. And I just want to make sure that you sleep really, really well tonight, knowing that you made a great choice, that you are headed towards achieving your goals, and that I will be handling the crazy and the details and the complexity and the drama of this. Was there anything lingering after our time together? And you can almost hear it. Sometimes you can literally hear people be like, oh, I'm so glad you called.
Because oftentimes people do have something that they were like, dang it, forgot to ask that.
And if they don't, they're like, oh my gosh, this was so thoughtful. No, I got dinner on, I got to run. But man, thank you so much for being thoughtful.
But
like,
it's those little things, like that very first little thing that we do that makes somebody reflect and go, wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah. Like
and
you
that's
said,
a good thing.
Oh, it's the best thing, right? They're like, oh, I know they're great at real estate. I just saw all that, but now I know that they genuinely care.
All right. So what are some of the things that we do as a team that you feel like are creating those moments, those memorable things for people in what can be a really, really stressful time?
Yeah, I'm just going to go off the top of my head, and if I miss some that you want to make sure people know about, you jump in. But one of my favorite ones is what we call our welcome box.
Yeah.
This is actually a product that we sell as a coaching product. I don't think we've ever talked about products on the podcast, so I'm not like hardcore trying to sell you, but you can go to realestategrowthsystems.com if you want to see more about it. But it's had a lot of different names. We call it our referral machine because it just turns people into referral machines. But basically, once someone has hired us, we send a physical box in the mail that really just welcomes them to our family.
And this is both buyers and sellers.
Anyone that hires us to be their professional agent.
Because that's actually a question that I do get asked by people that have reached out to us about the referral machine. Is like, wait, do you send this to everybody? Like people that are buying and selling? Or do you just send it to the people like once you've already got the transaction done? We send it to somebody once they've hired us to be their agent, and we send it to them as fast as possible. Yeah.
Again, we're following that cycle that after someone hires us, there may be some emotion, there may be some fear. So we made the phone call. This is going to get there ideally the next day, sometimes 2 to 3 days, depending on timing and holidays and when and where.
Yep.
And we can explain the contents of the box, or you can go to the realestategrowthsystems.com and see some of that. But it's our way, in our context, with our traditions and my family, of saying, hey, you really are an insider now. You're one of us now. We've got your back. We're leading the way. You're part of the family.
Yep.
We do that with food and a family tradition of mine. And if you buy the product, it'll literally walk you through how to make it your own. And again, I'm just illustrating what we do. Sure, go buy the product. I think it's great, but that's not the primary purpose of what I'm saying. I'm saying it's unique to us, and so they really feel cared for and feel included.
Well, I'll share one that stands out to me as well. Is once somebody has gone through their option period, depending on what you call it in your state, we call it option period here in Texas. We send them to the movies.
Yep.
And we've done this.
Now that sounds silly if you leave it there.
It does. So let me explain it, right? So basically we send them a letter that says, congratulations, you have gotten through one of the most stressful, hardest part of the transaction, no matter which side you're on, the buy side or the sell side. We want to give you a night away. Go do something fun, pick a movie. Here's a coupon for popcorn and a drink, 2 tickets. Go and have a fun date night on us. Take a spouse, take a kiddo, up to you. Go and relax. congrats on getting through one of the most stressful pieces.
And you talked about we do that after option or due diligence or inspection, depending on what you call it. That's part of that pattern. That's part of that psychology that we've witnessed for 20 plus years of going, man, that's the time actually, Ian, where they're past a lot of the anxiety and frustration of the inspection and, documentation and repairs and expenses. And actually the reason we do it in that gap is because people at that point are sometimes like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why aren't we closed yet? What's happening right now? And we're saying, hey, on the back end, we still have a lot going on. We're checking in with lenders and underwriters and title company and surveys and inspections and title policies and clearing any issues and all that. But you put your feet up right now. You go enjoy a movie. You've made it through the crazy stuff. There's a move still coming up. But for now, you go relax while we continue to work. So it's not just that we're loving on them. We're also communicating to them there's still work to be done, but we've got it.
Well, let me say this. You mentioned the first two things that we do.
Yep.
The call for no reason after you've met with them and the welcome box. The one I mentioned is number 7. There's multiple other things going on.
And it never ends.
Between the welcome box and the movie tickets.
Yep.
Then there's more that goes on afterwards. I counted 12 things on our little client experience timeline, which is only from the call after the appointment
from signing
until 90 days after the closing. There's 11 things that happen and then way more beyond that.
And then let me be clear. Those are the things that are systematic done by the team.
For the team,
the individual agent should be doing 49 more. I'm making that number up. But they should be personalizing, building trust with the client. Maybe they bought them a cup of coffee. It's not always giving and buying. It's just caring for people. It might be calling back and being like, hey, how was Susan's soccer game last night? I know you guys had to kind of hustle out of that closing or out of that showing to get to soccer, and she was a little bit distracted. How did it go?
Yeah.
She okay? You guys win? Whatever. I know you guys are big Oklahoma State fans, and they got absolutely obliterated this weekend. So you guys need anything? You need some help? Because that must hurt. I mean, that would be like smack talk, which you would only do with people you know well enough and care for.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of the tone of our team. So we kind of encourage that with their clients if it's appropriate. But the point is there's hundreds of things going on to care for and love on your clients. But as a team, we provide that for our people so that nobody's getting less than those 12 or 13 or 14. And then it never ends. It keeps going way beyond that, but that's the set pattern.
When I'm coaching people or leading our team and having conversations with them about how they can work with their clients or even how to convert, from prospect to client, things like that, one of the things that I point out often is I need you to put yourself in their position. How would you feel right now if you were them?
Let me jump in. This is never going to happen. But I've always said, I think every real estate agent should be forced to buy or sell a home every 2 years. Because like you said, or like, hey, try to put yourself in their situation. And you can do a pretty good job of that if you really know what you're doing, but you'll never do as good a job as when you're actually in the situation and you're like, I've sold 400 houses in the last, 10 years. And I'm still in my own option period right now. And I'm kind of freaking out. It's just,
a part of the reason that I bring that up is because if you can put yourself in their position during these different pieces of the transaction, now you can begin to send things, customize things to help them through that, to make them really feel a certain way.
Really meet them where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
By the way, I think when any one of your team members is going through a transaction, you want to give them room to share with the whole team as much as you can.
For sure.
So that they get it.
For sure. Okay, so transition, we've gone through a whole transaction. We have got to the closing table. We've closed with them. What do we do to keep the long-term relationship? Because a lot of people are on a right now, find new client.
Yep.
And that's not a sustainable way to build a business.
And we're typically talking to, I say it over and over and over again, team leaders, broker owners, and some people would define themselves as not a team, but they're solo with help. So I'd call that kind of a light team. The answer for those people is, it's funny because I opened this episode with like, send a newsletter, send a market update, post on social media. Those aren't all bad things, but they are, if you're not careful, they're all business getting things.
Yeah.
So all of those, though, can be value add care for people things if done well. So So do those things and do them forever. Shoot videos, stay connected. But some of the things that we do that maybe they're not like brilliant ideas that no one would ever think of, but I just don't see a lot of people doing it, is we do about 4 client events a year. Every client event is a thank you event. It's an expression of our gratitude to people. Now we do 4 because it gives our agents a very, 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 very easy way to stay in touch with all past clients, all current clients, all warm prospects, all vendor partners once a quarter.
Yeah.
It also gives us a chance to have fun, not always be talking prices and taxes and days on market and all that stuff. So we do a pie event. That's become a lot less original as more and more people do it, but we've turned it into like a coffee social get a pie holiday event with a charitable donation thing involved with it. We do our ice cream party at the end of every summer, kind of as a back to school thing. And
we say at the end of the summer, but it is still 197 degrees outside.
End of the school summer.
There you go.
You're right. And then in May, we almost always do something really cool. Crawfish party, minor league baseball game, backyard festival kind of. It could be all sorts of stuff. And then in February-ish, we usually do something a little smaller that's either educational or virtual to equip or resource our clients.
This year we did a pickleball event.
We did a pickleball event, kind of an indoor-outdoor both and.
Cool.
It was really, really cool. And we had done that once before, but it had been a long time. So all that to say, we do some big events. We also do, at times, kind of a seemingly random client event. We've done branded sunglasses before summer a couple times. We've done some hoodies, hats, other fun stuff like that. And then, of course, we're calling all the time in between even those events just to say, hey, do you need anything? In addition to that, we have what we call our Raving Fan Club, where we're saying, hey, do you need anything? You need to borrow the pressure washer? Do you need something notarized? You want to swing by the office and use the copier? Do you need to use our meeting space to meet with your financial advisor or have your church group gather or have your PTA planning meeting offsite, and 1,000 other things? But the point is we're trying to be a part of their life, not just their transactions.
Okay, so if I just give you a quick overview then of what we've talked about for the last 15, 16 minutes, we're doing all of these things. We're doing all of the touch points throughout the transaction. We're doing everything with the client events afterwards because we want to stay top of mind. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what feels like 100 or 150 different people in the real estate space. Mm-hmm. And it's a constant competition at times, is what it feels like. But because of all the things we're doing, we're building the long-term trust. We're building the equity with people. And people want to, our clients, our friends, they want to stay with us. They want to refer people to us. And of course, there has to be a business element to all of this, or else you wouldn't do it. We love the staying in touch with everybody and creating these memories and doing all these things. And it's so nice when we get to have a referral from that and stay in all that business. So the question that I have for you is, somebody could be listening to this and just thinking, I can't do all these things. And that is a lot of stuff. You must have a team of, I don't even know how many people doing this for you as a team. So for somebody that's listening to this right now and is thinking, where do I even begin? What's the starting point? What would you say?
Yeah, 2 quick things. And this applies whether you're a solo agent or, the bulk of our audience, team leaders and brokers. First of all, I'm thinking of a kid right now. This kid is just in a family, a child of one of our clients. They've been a client for over 15 years. He's literally grown up. I kid you not. I'm not exaggerating. Like, part of his life identity is that they're a client of ours.
Yeah.
He has said to his parents multiple times, I just want to do what Todd Tremonti does when I grow up, because he just throws parties and gives people stuff, which is obviously not all we do, but that's his perception of it. So I say that in a couple of ways. Number one, it's very attractive to be able to live in a way where you are leading with caring for people, providing for people, loving on people, without apologizing for the fact that you want to help them buy and sell houses. But you could not only do it in addition to selling, you can lead with it and it can work. Now, anybody can do that. So to your question of what if I don't have the big staff, or what if I'm still scaling and we're all overwhelmed, or what if we're a big team but we've never done this, any of those people, start with what comes natural to you.
Yeah.
If you love ice cream, throw a party at an ice cream shop. All you got to do is put the word out and just say, hey, I'm here. I'm buying scoops. And if you have a limited budget, then don't invite everybody, invite 50 people. Or say, hey, I'm going to be at this coffee shop from this time to this time, and I'm buying coffee for 1 hour. Anybody who shows up. I mean, it's not going to cost that much.
Yep.
Get a vendor partner to help you sponsor that and pay for it. There's a lot of ways to do this without breaking the bank and having to have a massive staff. The goal here, though, is that
Which, by the way, we don't have a massive staff.
we have 3 people on our staff. Yeah, and 6 agents. We're not as big as a lot of people think we are. We are just pretty dadgum productive and proud that we have some good systems. But all that to say, anybody could do this. We have coaching clients quite a lot who are solo with help or small teams that throw massive, incredible events. We have a client right now that is currently a team of 3 people, 2 agents and 1 staff, and they just had 900 people at an event at a water park.
Not even joking.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do this. So if you'd like some help with that, 2 thoughts for you. Number 1, come to our Real Growth Summit in September 16th and 17th in Dallas, Texas, where we're going to spend 2 days talking about doubling your income and doubling your impact, which is a big part of what we're talking about here.
RealGrowthSummit.com.
RealGrowthSummit.com. You can grab a ticket. Right now, there's still some discounts depending on when you're hearing this, but you should be with us. If you happen to be hearing this after September of 2026, look at next year's dates, but also just click the link near this episode somewhere. Find some time to jump on my calendar. We'll talk about growing your business or come and do an event or coaching or just implementing a little more love into your business. We'll talk to you on the next one.